What's the best piece of advice you ever had?
Oh my gosh.
Your
Oh
one before
gosh.
was excellent, so when I edit this up, we can just take that if you want.
What was that?
I'm normally quite sharp on some. It was I can't remember. It was, but it
Well,
was.
I've got so many now. Um, I have like this, like I put like a little, I have another newsletter, so it's called Make It Monday,
Mhm,
and it's about kind of helping freelance, like it's like banging the drum for freelancers or anyone creative or anyone to make their own things. So I always put like a little mantra in that, so like a weekly mantra of like what I'm trying to repeat to myself. So one that I've heard recently that I really like was kind of like, I don't mind what happens. I really like that, but and not from a case of like, obviously that isn't the case in everything in life, but and I also believe in trying to be quite strategic and trying to be quite commercial, but
mhm,
I think from kind of just letting go of the things that you can't control
mhm.
and enjoying the journey, like from that perspective I really like that as kind of a piece of advice, kind of repeating to yourself like, well, look, if you don't mind what happens, it can allow you to kind of go for things like a lot easier. I think you were so right about the hardest thing is your perception of what other people's perception is of you,
Hmm.
and to be able just to try and remove yourself from a situation is just so important, because different, I worry about it like, and it's ridiculous because I could probably fall over in the street and not be too embarrassed about it, but for some reason I just hate the idea of public speaking like in person. um some days I worry like, oh my god, people probably think I'm rolling in it. Other days I worry, oh god, people probably think I'm not growing it fast enough. It's like, it doesn't even make any logical sense, I think. And everyone worries about different things. Everyone has ways more important things to think about than what you're doing. So yeah, I just think to kind of be able to let go of some things is really important.
I think it's, and I, even though I'm a man, I feel exactly the same. And the funny thing is that if you put yourself in your shoes, obviously within your network, there's lots of people that you know. If you're brutally honest, how many times on average day do you think about Joe Blogs? Probably never. The point
Yeah,
is, we always worry far more. People probably didn't even think about Sophie Cross today, but actually,
yeah, absolutely.
and but I think that's the thing is that for me, it's the moral intent behind what you're trying to do. That I know that there's people that's going to absolutely hate me, and some people are going to quite like you. But it's almost where, as long as I'm doing my best, and I think it's a Cub Scout thing from growing up, is that I will happily do my best, and if it fails, it fails. But I
Mm.
tried, and I'll take that risk, and I'm just
But
getting over.
that's like, I don't mind what happens, isn't
Yeah,
it? Like, I think that's yeah, there's something about that, isn't there? Just doing your best and enjoying the journey.
yeah, cool. And my last question: if you
Mm.
were to give advice to your younger self, so you
Mm.
could pick you at school climbing out the window, or at
Yeah.
uni, or when you first set up, or when you're in the corporate job, or even when you went to Covent Garden and it didn't quite work out. If you were to give
Mm.
advice to your younger self, what would it be?
This question is so difficult, isn't it? I was thinking I'm going to go a bit left field on this and say I hated being told what to do so much that I probably wouldn't have listened even to my older self. I mean, it makes me sound like a right ass, which I probably, wasn't. Um, but I did kind of have a bit of an objection to being told what to do. I was thinking about this earlier. Realistically, I mean, I think a lot about now just what advice I give myself now. You're just trying to think every day, like, what's the best
Hmm.
advice I can take now and put into practice. Okay, so completely kind of, it seems unrelated to business, but as someone who has just started trying to run again,
Okay,
and as someone
respect.
who used to be able to run relatively well, has done marathons and things like that, and just didn't even really think they were that fit at the time.
Hmm.
My advice to my younger self would be like, just maybe don't stop running, even though actually I've probably stopped about 5 or 6 times now and had to start from scratch.
Hmm.
But I think a lot at the moment about trying to stay healthy, because I just think it's so easy not to when you set up a business. And I just think I'm just trying to kind of get back into training and things like that. So I'm going to come at it from that perspective and just tell my younger self, do you know what, you are actually like quite fit now, so maybe just like try and keep at a level, like keep some of that up, because it's going to be, you're going to absolutely hate yourself for stopping when you have to try and start again.
No, it's awesome. And what I always find quite funny is that when I kind of pick the guests, the people I want to speak to, I often pick them because I've seen them around. I think there could be something interesting. But often when you talk to them, there's so many core values and similarities that I didn't know the basketball thing. But and it's funny that I think you inherently resonate with certain people that you see around. And obviously, I discovered you in this room watching you talk to someone else. But it was just, you will never make that connection if you didn't do that marketing meetup podcast or whichever. And I think it's that balance between, even if you find it a little bit uncomfortable to do, you find your own tribe, you find your own people that you kind of relate to. And what I find quite funny is I can think of about 3 or 4 people who told me in the last 24 hours, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to seeing Sophie and seeing what she's, but you probably don't even know those people. But the point is they know you and they do like what you're doing. They love the magazine. And it's funny how things can kind of ripple out and definitely kind of keep up the good work.